Hi guys and dolls. Today's video is going to be another technique type thing. I'm going to do a bit of faux letterpress. So I've got my embossing folder. This is part of our Floral Affection embossing folder. It's one of the suites, Love and Affection I think is the name of the suite in the catalogue, in the annual catalogue. And I'm going to use one of the embossing folders from that. I have the Love and Affection, can you see that? Oh yeah, stamp set, and I'm going to use one of the sentiments from there. I also have, just get this out of the way, I have Daffodil Delight ink. I have a Sponge Dauber. I'm using a Tim Holtz one, but we do have some in our catalogues. We have some sponges and some Sponge Daubers, but if you have something like this, that will work. I don't at the moment have my Night of Navy ink, so I'm improvising. I've got a Memento ink here. And then we have some cardstock. So this is the card base. This is Daffodil Delight, and it's 11 inches by 4 1/4, folded in half. And then you've got a standard piece which will go on top of that, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and this is part of the Love and Affection DSP paper pack. I think that's what it's called. I'll link it below. And it is a double-sided paper, and there are 2 sheets of copper embossed papers in there. So beautiful. And then this piece, I had to write it down again, is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4, and this is just our Whisper White cardstock, and this is the piece we're going to emboss, or faux letterpress. Now, I've not done this on camera before, so fingers crossed that it works. So the first thing we're going to do is you've got your white cardstock, and with your embossing folder, you want to open it up and decide what part of it you want the letterpress or the ink to sit on. So do you want the ink to sit on the background and have the image that is in your embossing folder still the colour of your original piece of cardstock, so we're using white, or do you want the colour to be impressed into the cardstock? They're totally different looks. I'm going to go for the background being coloured and the actual image staying white, just because I've not really got a lot of white going on here, so I want more of the yellow coming out. So to do that, you need to look at your embossing folder. You're going to have one side where the image is indented into the plastic and the other side where it's raised. So if you want, and I may get this wrong, so I may have to start again. It's been a while. So what I want the background to actually be coloured. So I'm going to ink, don't worry, it will come off, especially if it's water-based ink, you're fine. I'm going to ink the bit that is, the side that is flattest. You'll notice on one side there's definitely a raised, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but there's actually a raised bit, and this raised bit will go into the indented part, and that's what pushes the paper through and therefore creates the image on the card or paper. So because I want the background to be colour, the flattest part is the part I'm going to ink. Wish me luck. I've also got to get this the right way around. So I've written the coordinates, I nearly said the coordinates, the measurements on the back of this piece of cardstock. So when I've got my ink on there, I'm going to have to put it face down so that the back is facing me, so that when this runs through, those images are going to press into the cardstock, hopefully putting colour on the background, and the images will stay white. So let's give us a whirl. I'm just going to take my ink pad, and very gently, you don't want to press your ink pad into it because you will end up with ink in the actual image. You just want to drag it or yeah, sort of smush it on there. You just want to drag it across. See? And the other thing you don't want to do is get ink. See, I'm getting ink not quite where I want it. You don't want to get ink on and if a little bit goes in, it's not a big deal. We're just having some fun, right? Right, I think we've got plenty on there. Now then, I'm going to carefully, what I would suggest is, I want the back of the card facing down there. So I want that way. So I actually want to flip this round, place this on the side that isn't inked. This is just so it makes it easy for you to actually handle it. Hold it closed, but don't move it too much, right? Because obviously you've got ink on there. I'm just going to bring this in, and I don't know how much you're going to see. I'll just stand up while I do this. I've got my plates here. I've got the embossing tab down, which is one. Got a clear plate. I'm going to put this on there carefully, she says, so as hopefully not to move it too much. Second plate on top, and then I'm just going to roll it through. Wish me luck. That's all I'm going to say. Just get this out of the way. Right, so that, although not perfect, and there's some swipes and stuff in there. Oh, focus. Hello. Oh, I'm back. Sorry, I lost the focus on there. I don't know what it was doing. So do you see? Can you see how the card, the original card that's embossed is now still white, and the background is another colour. So this, yes, is got ink on it, has got ink on it. You can just wash it off with a baby wipe or water, because it's water-based ink, so it's fine. So the thing I wanted to do was take some, well, there's lots of things you can do. You can, you know, go lightly over the top with a different colour, or, you know, whatever you want really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edge, because the edges of my piece that I've measured are, it didn't cover, the embossing folder was smaller than the piece of cardstock. So I'm going to use some ink with my trusty old dauber thing. And I'm going to ink the edges here. Oh, she says, trying not to get on the actual, oh, in fact I might do that anyway. I was going to leave it white, but actually I've landed up going over it anyway. So I might just go over the top of it, and you'll see it'll still give a neat look. Because really I haven't got any white in this card at all. So, and I'm going to have to do something about some of these lines, because these lines, you know, where the embossing folder was just isn't doing it for me. So I am going over the white. You don't have to, and that will have its own effect, but I don't have any, like I say, I don't have any white in the actual card. So now you could easily have done this, because it was supposed to look like faux letterpress, which it now doesn't. You could have, you know, as long as you've got a nice, what am I trying to say? As long as you've got a coordinating colour in your card, then it will look lovely. So I'm just going to go over this. I'll have to call this something else, but the faux letter technique is the same as what I've shown you. I'm just kind of winging it here, basically. That's how we roll sometimes. And that's the neat thing about card making, is that sometimes it just, you know, you start with one idea and then it evolves into something else completely different. So I'm going to leave that there before I do anything else. What I am going to do, because I cannot help myself, oh, where is it? If I could find it, that would be useful. Right, just got some water in the bottle, and I'm just going to spritz this. And I kind of want some bigger drops and some smaller drops, just for a bit of variety. Can't talk. I'm just going to get this off here because that's now wet. I don't want that. So, can you see how neat that is? Right, I think I'll come back in a second. I'm just going to dry it off, because the next bit I need to do is my stamping, and I need, what I'm going to do is, where I'm going to stamp, I need to stamp on here. So, but can you see that by adding a bit of water, it's also taken a lot of that line of the embossing folder away, which, you know, helps. So I'll be back in a second after I've dried it. So I've got my dry piece of cardstock. It only takes a few seconds with a heat tool just to dry it off. Like I say, that wasn't the original plan anyway, so it's supposed to look like a faux letterpress, where the images here, the raised images, were white and the background was the Daffodil Delight. But this is crafting. Sometimes you look at something and you think, oh, okay, that's great, or you make a boo-boo like I did and, you know, smudge the ink right over the top of it, so then you have to make a new plan with it. But I will do a proper video when I've got some bigger embossing folders. I will do the letterpress one again to show you what it does actually look like, and I'll do both, you know, the reverse of it as well. So the next thing I want to do is, I'm using the Love and Affection stamp set, and I'm using the sentiment that says, "You make me ridiculously happy," and my husband definitely makes me ridiculously happy. So we have an absolute gas when we're together. You know, we don't sort of, it's just us. We can goof around and act like idiots and it doesn't matter. But it's good fun, and I wouldn't be anywhere in this world without him. He's my world. I couldn't survive it without him. Right, so like I say, I haven't got my Night of Navy ink yet, which is one of the colours within this paper pack. So, I'm just checking I'm still recording. So I'm going to improvise and use what I have, which is Paris Dusk Memento ink. It's as close, I think, as I'm going to get. So as long as this is dry, which I hope it is, this shouldn't smear. So apologies if my head gets in the way. Just trying to get this somewhat, and I think I've got it squonk, but it's a little wonky, but that's okay. That's alright. That's alright. Right, so that's that ink. So basically you'd use a Night of Navy in the middle, and that way you know that the ink is going to coordinate with the pattern paper. And all our DSP paper packs tell you, on the back of it, it will tell you what colours are used within that paper pack, so you can get coordinating everything from ribbon to ink to cardstock, whatever. We've got it in, the colours are going to match throughout, markers. Right, so anyway, I'm waffling now. So now it's just a case of putting the card together. It's that simple, although, like I say, it didn't quite turn out the way I planned it. And this is the paper on the other side, the pattern on the other side. I think it's crumb cake and mint macaron. And yeah, so turning into an even easier card. Just didn't quite work out the way I planned it. Funny how that happens sometimes. Right, so I've got my card base. Don't know if this has an up and a down. Yeah, we'll go with this. The card base is also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's also Daffodil Delight. And then, because I am obsessed with distressing, that's why I thought, when I made the boo-boo, I thought I may as well just go the whole hog, and that's why I used some water. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but by spritzing the water, it's kind of given it a sort of distressed, sort of blotchy look, which is very trendy and very cool at the moment. There's tons of people out there who do that sort of distressed look and give their cards and projects a really distressed look. Now the other thing to remember when you've embossed anything, although this is a small design of embossing, there's only a small section. If it was a whole piece, you know, like a full background, but even on this one I'm doing it, make sure you've got tons of adhesive on it, because otherwise what will happen is, because of the embossing, it will start to lift and twist. So it's not a major thing, and it's, you know, it's not, you know, gonna happen badly or anything, but it will do that. It might lift off the card, and it's just because it's been embossed, so the paper's got warped basically. So I'm going to stick this in the middle, sort of, maybe. Oh, it's not quite the middle, but you know, we're just going with the flow with this one, that's for sure. And if you ever want to stick your card but you don't want to run your fingers over it, maybe you've got ink on your fingers, maybe you've got glitter or glue or something like that, just flip your card over and rub it that way, and that way you'll flatten what you've stuck on there. Yeah, it's a little low, but never mind. Right, so there you go. It's not quite what was planned originally, but I think it's turned out kind of nice. It's very squonk. Never mind. So yes, so I will be back with a video on letterpress specifically. Maybe I won't make a project with them, maybe I will just show you how to do both parts of it. Although I showed you with this little guy, it was only because the cardstock piece, I was going to say it's because the cardstock piece was bigger, but that's the size I wanted the piece of cardstock. But you could always cut your cardstock to fit your embossing folder, and that way you shouldn't have that problem. You know, you may have to trim a little bit around the edges. But yeah, I still like it, and I think the fact that there's no white on it actually is better, because like I say, I didn't have any white, so that would have actually stuck out like a sore thumb. So I think that's probably worked out quite well. But you can always use, and maybe this is what I should have done for you guys, you can always use tone on tone. So you could have used a piece of our, it's called Daffodil Delight cardstock, and embossed it with the Daffodil Delight ink, and that will give it a tone on tone look. Maybe that's what I should have done for you guys today, but never mind. I say a lot. I've got to stop saying that. I've just done it again. I'll be back with a video to show you letterpress, faux letterpressing specifically, just letterpressing. We'll just do that, and then but hopefully this gives you an idea of what to do in the meantime. Anyway, hope it was helpful. Hope it was a nice little card to see today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.